Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Look, man, it is going to be a crazy weekend in the Big 12 Conference. Several big-time games. I've said it before. I think this might separate, not might, I think it will separate the contenders from the pretenders this weekend. We're going to see a lot of things that we're going to see some teams either stand up or get sat down. And that's how I like it. I think that's how we all like it as football fans. Where does our team stand? We're going to see that this weekend. So I'm really excited. Several games, like I mentioned, are really good, but there's one that stands above the rest. That's our game of the week. And that's what we're here to talk about today. The game of the week, the Holy War, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into it. But before we do, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section like you guys do, and always hit that notification bell so we know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. So I've mentioned there's some other games out there. You know, Baylor going to TCU. I think this one, it's going to be a track meet. You know, the first team to 48 wins, in my opinion. Here I say that, and a lot of people are thinking the same thing. Watch a game be a defensive struggle, 17-14. This conference is crazy. Who the hell knows? I doubt that happens. Very strongly doubt that happens. But this one, look, TCU's lost 2 games. Their chance to get to the Big 12 Conference title game is basically slim to none. It will be 100% eliminated if they lose. I think the same thing about Baylor. If Baylor loses this game, see, they still have a chance even though they've lost the conference game. They lose this one, they're out. That'll be the end of it. So, again, this is kind of a put up, shut up type of game, but not the game of the week. Texas Tech, same thing. Texas Tech playing Arizona State, I should say the same thing. Big time game. Now, Tech isn't going to be eliminated from anything, even if they were to lose this game. But my question is, are they going to continue their dominance of the conference? I mean, last week was their smallest margin of victory, and it was 25 points. Even when their offense wasn't clicking as far as throwing the football, they just pivoted and said, we'll just run it, and ran it for 372 yards. Lord have mercy. Can Arizona State keep it close? Look, we watched Arizona State get just demolished last weekend physically by Utah. It happened. Now, quarterback didn't play, but quarterback not playing nose tackle. Quarterback didn't play middle linebacker. And I understand having a quarterback on your team, maybe keeping the football, doing some things, putting some game pressure on Utah a little bit. I understand all that. But they got physically beat up. How do they bounce back? Again, you lose this game, Arizona State's out as far as Big 12 title game. So are they going to stand up and be accounted for and say, hold on, Texas Tech, I know you've been blowing teams out. You're not blowing us out. Or will Tech say, hold the phone, we're just that much better than everybody, and Arizona State, you're just like everybody else. You may give us a game for a quarter, a half, 3 quarters, but eventually our talent, our depth, what we bring to the table is going to be too much for you. Very interesting game. But the game of the week is the Holy War. BYU hosting Utah, going to be an incredible game. Look, BYU, let's start here. BYU, if we're all being honest, and BYU fans can admit this because for the most part, BYU fans are they're honest about their team. Whether you agree with them or not, that's a different conversation. And to pretty much, they all say, hey, we haven't been tested to this extent all season long. And they haven't. They have not. You look at their schedule, who they've played, they have not been tested. This will be the biggest test that they have by far this season up to this point. Bear Bachmeier playing in his first Holy War, true freshman quarterback. But more importantly, at least for me, how's he going to fare? Because this is the best defense that he's played against. We'll get into the game plan of what teams are going to want to do. But, yeah, for me, that's what it is. How's he going to react? He's kind of struggled throwing the football last week, but made some plays. So we'll see how he reacts. For Utah, again, Utah, their back is against the wall. I hesitated there because I wanted to say something else, but it's not true. Utah's back is against the wall. Now, Utah fans may say, what are you talking about, Big B? If you lose this game, you're out. You're going to need so much help to be able to get to a Big 12 title game. I mean, yeah, you can't lose. So their back is against the wall. We saw that last week, though. Their back was against the wall. And what did they do? They just came out swinging and said, absolutely not. We get it. Our back's against the wall. But here, take these haymakers, and how do you like them? I think that might be the same approach that they come out with this week, is come out swing. They're not going to come out jabbing. They're going to come out swinging for the fences. Last week, they just connected on an opponent that didn't like getting hit by haymakers and just bowed down to them. Will BYU do the same? I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting. But Utah has been tested. And that might be the difference. We'll get into that and we'll talk about it. So now another thing that comes into play is how the game ended last year. First of all, these teams don't like each other. All right. Somebody got into the comments yesterday and I was furious. I was absolutely furious and said, hold on, Big B. Let me help you here. My family, my wife, and her family, we all intermingle and we all went to Utah and BYU. And while we want to beat each other's team, when we're playing somebody else, we root for the other squad. I was furious. I'm like, hold on. That is not the rivalry that I know and love. That's not even what I want to hear. I want to hear the ferocity, the hatred. That's what I want out of a rival. First of all, that's what a real rivalry is. Don't tell me that, well, we get along, we root for – who roots for your rival to win at any point in time? Look, man, I'm almost 50 years old. And one of my rivals in high school, that was 35 years ago, almost 35 years ago. I don't want them to win anything ever. And that was petty. Well, it wasn't petty at the time. And I grew up across the river in Indiana from Louisville, Kentucky. High school basketball is sacred there. And I don't want them to win anything. And that's high school, man. What are you talking about? You root for them to win. Stop it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. And while some of you may say it ain't that serious, yeah, it's that serious. Yeah, it's that serious. Nobody's asking for violence. Nobody's saying that. And if we can't distinguish between the two, then maybe this channel ain't for you. I can just be honest with you. If you can't understand how we're talking about being just disliking your rival, but not being violent about it. First of all, I'm not sure you're fit to be in society. I can say that. But two, this channel might not be for you. We love rivalries here. We keep it lighthearted, but we like to see the disdain for one another. And I think we got that. We're going to get that even more this week. Keys to the game. Control the line of scrimmage. I say the same thing every week, and I'll say it till the end of time. Football is controlled by the line of scrimmage. I don't care what the skill players are. If you can control the line of scrimmage, more than likely you can control a football game. Whether you win or not, different story. There's other aspects of that, but you can control a football game if you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Look, let's put it out there. Both teams stop the run, like to run the football. BYU, second in the league at stopping the run. Utah is first. Utah is averaging 248 yards a game last week. They ran all over an Arizona State team that is really good at stopping the run, but they ran all over for, 276 yards, just ran the ball down their throat. And they had to because it was a monsoon out and they really couldn't throw the football. So there's that. BYU, they can run the football too. They're second in the conference in running the football, 238 yards a game. They can run it. They can. The difference is, I just saw Utah shut down a team that ran the ball for two. They were third in the conference going into the game. Arizona State was, and Utah shut all of that completely down. Shut it down. Now, was it because Utah's game plan was, we don't think Jeff Sims can beat us in the air? Sam Levitt wasn't playing, so we're just going to stack this box. We don't think you can beat us throwing the football, and we're damn sure not going to let you run it on us. Sound like a smart strategy to me, and it absolutely worked. Will they take that same approach? Probably. I would guess so. But physicality wins the day. Physicality always wins the day. I know people don't like that, but it's just true. It wins the day, no matter what you want to say about it or not. And who controls the line of scrimmage is going to control the game. Again, other factors on whether you win or not, because if a team turns the football over 4 times, even though you're controlling the line of scrimmage, that team is probably going to lose. So that's why there's never any absolutes pretty much in anything, but definitely not football, man. Definitely not football. So whose quarterback's going to be special? Look, Devin Dampier last week was outstanding. He was incredible. Ran the football. Didn't get asked to throw it a lot, but he was pretty good when they did ask him to throw it. Yeah, can he be the difference? And can he beat BYU with his arm? Because I'm sure that's the game plan is, look, they want to be physical. We have to stop, number one, him from running, okay? But make him beat us with his arm. Well, I mean, look, he had the bad game against Tech. People, I mean, again, he wasn't 100%. He was injured. And look, my philosophy again on that, I understand guys being hurt and playing through injury. That's all part of football. But I've said it 100 times, and I'll continue to say it. My dad was an old high school football coach, and his philosophy was, I get it, playing through injury. I don't expect your best, but I damn sure don't expect your worst. Because if you're going to give me your worst, then I need somebody else to play. It's just that simple. And it seemed like maybe that was Dampier's worst against Tech. Maybe somebody else should have went in there. And again, if his worst is better than your backup, that's a problem in itself, but doesn't matter. He's healthy. So let's move on from that. Can he beat them with their arm? I mean, he's completing 71% of his passes. We'll see. I think BYU's best chance, stop him from running, make him beat you with the arm. BYU, on the other hand, is Bo Bachmeier. Is he going to be special? What's he going to do? Can he make a play? Now, he struggled last week throwing the football against Arizona, threw 2 interceptions, wasn't very accurate, but he made the plays when he needed to make them with his arm and his legs for them to be able to win the football game. So there is no doubt about that. But if anybody believes that the game plan for this Utah defense is, we are going to make this kid beat us with his arm. Now, we've seen him have good games, though. So it's not like he can't throw the football, but the difference is, was the defense as good as Utah's that he made these plays? That's where this comes down to, people, is the level of competition gets ratcheted up for BYU this week, where they haven't been tested like this. It's not that, I mean, they were in a double overtime game last week, so you can't say they haven't been tested, but they haven't been tested with a team of this caliber. And to me, that matters. That matters. That's, special teams. Is anybody going to be special? BYU is 3rd in the conference as far as kickoff returns. Utah's dead last. Neither one of them have very many, but Utah's longest kickoff return is 15 yards. So that surprises me a little bit, but maybe my thing is, who can win the hidden yardage? Both of them are decent as far as punt returns, but who can win hidden yardage that nobody accounts for? Can your starting field position be at the 36-yard line, stuff like that, versus the 26-yard line? That matters. It matters. So who can win and be special on special teams? But here's the thing. When it comes down to predicting this football game, physicality, who's going to win the line of scrimmage, man? Who is that going to be? Both teams want to be physical. Who's going to win that? Can't wait to see that matchup. Turnover margin. Look, BYU tied for 26th in the country at plus 0.8. Utah, 77th in the country at minus 0.2. Will that make a difference? Turning the football over. It's going to be at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. The atmosphere is going to be insane. It's going to be just a raucous crowd. So the intangibles, that'll matter. that will matter. Again, BYU playing at home, got a lot to prove. Utah still pissed off about how that game ended last year. Still mad about it. And I'm guessing they don't want it to come down to putting it in the referee's hands again. But bottom line is this. For me, I just think Utah's the better football team. I think Utah has been tested. I've said it several times. They've been tested more by better competition than what BYU has. Now, that may not mean anything once you get into the game. That BYU may, hey, yeah, we've been tested, but we're just this good. But I just think the Utah is just better. I think they're better. Again, I stress it. I think they have the best offensive line in the country. I think that sooner or later, that is going to hold true. They may not run for 276 yards again like they did the previous week, but I think sooner or later that offensive line, they're just going to keep going, and that's going to win the day. And again, if BYU doesn't win this game, or excuse me, if Utah doesn't win this game, I would pretty much consider them to be out on getting to the Big 12 title game. They're going to need a ton of help in order to do that. Now, in this conference, clearly that can happen, but they don't want to lose this game. First of all, they don't want to lose this game because you don't want to lose a football game. Two, it's your bitter rival, or your arch bitter rival, I should say. You don't want to lose to them. And three, you want to continue to move up and prove to everybody that the Tech game was that. We're better than that, and let's go play some football. I just think they're better than BYU. I got Utah 27-17. Going to be a good football game, though. Cannot wait to see it. But I just think Utah is just a little bit better than BYU. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. It's been a fun week covering everything. So I appreciate all the support that you guys have given us. Can't wait till Saturday, man. I'm sure I'll have some little posts and little stuff going on Saturday for you guys. Keep a lookout for that. But until next time, I appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.